So, the last video on this YouTube channel went over the Montreal Canadiens and their defeat of the New York Islanders in regulation. This was a great game because we had seen a bunch of Canadiens that had been slumping starting to get back on the board. You got the first goals in a while for Cole Caulfield, 2 goals on the night for Josh Anderson. Christian Dvorak scored his first goal in over a month? Something like that. It's been a while. And if you hadn't checked out that video, then go ahead. I'll be patient in this one. You can watch that video, then come back over here, because today's video is kind of a follow-up. Not really, like, in writing, per se, but in spirit. Because last video, we talked about slumping Montreal Canadiens. In today's video, we're talking about former Canadiens who are also slumping now. And this is an interesting dichotomy because the guy we are talking about and breaking down has not always been slumping, he only recently started to get here. Today we're talking about the Montreal Canadiens' esteemed 3rd overall pick in the 2018 draft, Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Because, for a good chunk of Kotkaniemi's Montreal Canadiens career, people were defending this guy left and right. Hey, this was an okay pickup at 3rd overall. This was a center that could become the next Barkov. Barkov's a top-line guy, right? And he was a top pick, so why not Kotkaniemi? This is appropriate. And as time went on, we had more doubts creeping in there. Oh, the Habs should have taken Hughes, they should have taken Tkachuk, they should have not taken KK, they reached for the center because they were trying to get centers, and now you've got Kotkaniemi, Suzuki, and extra names like Ryan Poehling, for example, so maybe you have too many centers. Alex Belzile could be tossed in there too. It was a really big sort of thought process that was going down. Oh, the Canadiens needed centers? Well, now they have too many, and Kotkaniemi's part of the problem, but it's okay because it's a good problem to have, and he's good anyways, right? KK was a Montreal Canadiens stud in the 3 seasons that he was here. His rookie year, 18 years old, first player born in the year 2000 to play in any one of the major 4 sports leagues in history. He had 34 points in 79 games played. A lot of people said he outproduced Barkov. That was cool. As the years went on, though, we all recognized what happened with Jesperi Kotkaniemi. His career as a Canadian wasn't great, and it's not really like he was giving much hope afterwards because he started getting sent down to Laval. He went back over to Finland, and things didn't really have the same level of excitement as they did when Kotkaniemi was 18 and outproducing Alexander Barkov. Nevertheless, you had yourselves a bunch of people going out there and defending this guy still and saying that he'd be alright, and eventually he got offer sheeted. He yeeted off to the Carolina Hurricanes, and the rest is history. That was a few years ago, and now we are on a separate timeline where a lot of the return, the stuff that the Canadiens got for Jesperi Kotkaniemi was used to get the Christian Dvorak trade done. So Dvorak is here, Kotkaniemi is not. KK started his Carolina Hurricanes career with a bang, signing that offer sheet, and eventually got tagged on even further with a $4.8 million AAV deal, which goes until 2029-2030. Long-term deal, everybody. The Carolina Hurricanes decided to sign it. Everybody knows the story. Everybody knows the lore. Is Kotkaniemi worth that? Well, you can be the judge. Starting out his Carolina Hurricanes career, KK had himself 29 points in 66 games played. Pretty okay. The next season after that, he had 43 points in 82 games and 7 points in 15 games in the playoffs. Not the best in the world, but not terrible. This season, though, Jesperi Kotkaniemi started out the year with a bang. He had 13 points in his first 14 games of the season, really putting a staple on just the amount of production he was capable of achieving. This was a guy who came out flying through the gates, and a lot of Carolina Hurricanes fans said, oh yeah, this is it. Jesperi Kotkaniemi is here. He's a top-tier center playing on our second line, and even now, if you go over to the Daily Faceoff, Jesperi Kotkaniemi is listed as the second-line center alongside of Teravainen and Marty Necas. Pretty good top 6 if I do say so myself, with Stefan Nason, Sebastian Aho, and Seth Jarvis rounding out the top line. And for Jesperi Kotkaniemi, this was a guy who got off to such a hot start that Canadiens fans everywhere were kind of mixed, you know? You had some fans saying, oh yeah, look at this, he's actually good now. This is what we thought he could have been able to do in Montreal. We all believed in this guy, but everybody else didn't, so you're wrong and we're right. And then you had the other Canadiens fans that were like, okay, well, good for him. I mean, we didn't really think that that was possible in the short term in Montreal, so that's kind of why we didn't sign the offer sheet to claim him back, so that's fine. hey, good on him. The Canadiens got their guy. They're doing all right now with New Hook Doc, everybody else that they acquired, Sean Monahan too. So a bunch of other Canadiens fans, we're not going to sour grape over this. But the reason we're making this video today, after Kotkaniemi started out the year with a point-per-game stint, is because ever since that stint had come and gone, things hadn't been going all too well. Here's a tweet from NHL Watcher that kind of sums it all up. Jesperi Kotkaniemi started the season with 13 points in his first 14 games. He now has 2 points in his last 12. This tweet was made a week ago. Where have things gone since then? Well, the tweet was made December 8th, 2023. What has happened since then? Well, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, since December 8th, has played 4 more games, and in those extra 4 games, he has scored 0 points still. Jesperi Kotkaniemi hasn't scored a point in the NHL regular season since November 28th, against the Philadelphia Flyers. Since then, he's played against the Islanders, the Sabres, the Jets, the Oilers, the Flames, the Canucks, the Senators, the Red Wings, and the Predators, all with no points in the games. He's averaging about 14 minutes of time on ice in this sample. He's a -4? He's getting shots on goal. He averages 1 to 2 shots every game pretty much, but he's not getting anything. Jesperi Kotkaniemi started out the season so hot, and now he's gone on a slump that's really taken his point production metrics down the drain. He's got 15 points in 30 games played right now, which is on pace for literally half a point a game, 41 points, which in isolation is fine. If anybody said, yeah, Kotkaniemi is going to be a half a point a game player at the end of the year, people would have been like, okay, like that's not that bad. $4-point-something million, you could do worse than that. Like 40 points as a center who can win you draws and be a two-way presence, that's okay, right? But then you look at the splits and you realize that, hey, I mean, if Kotkaniemi got, what was that? 13 points in 14 games, you do the math there, he's got 2 points in his remaining 16 games played. Not good. Especially for a Carolina Hurricanes team that has needed to rely on their scoring to bail them out. This team's goaltending is not good. We've been talking about this the entire season. Yesterday we saw the entire thing with the Ronta waiver wire situation, and then they called up the guy from the ECHL, which is very strange. This goaltending trio of Kotkachov, Anderson, Antti-Ranta, it hasn't been good. The Hurricanes have relied on all of their point-producing guys to outscore away their problems, and as a result, you've got guys like Aho, Nachas, Jarvis, Teravainen, Nason, Bunting, Shea, Slavin, all with more points than Jesperi Kotkaniemi on the year. That's the rest of the top 6 and then some, even 2 of your defenders that have more points than Jesperi Kotkaniemi does in 23-24. This was supposed to be the guy to break Barkov, or to be the next Barkov. And sure, while I don't doubt that he is a reliable enough two-way presence to keep around in your second line, to give a few tough matchups against, this is a player who, even with the limited power play time, has still not really been utilized all too much. He's not playing in the penalty kill unit. He's not playing on the power play either. This is a guy who's just been there. The ice time has been alright. I mean, 14-15 minutes of time on ice per game is not nothing. How could you not get a point in 5 games? Like, it kind of blows my mind that it's gotten to this point, especially with all of the lore surrounding Jesperi Kotkaniemi being a top pick and having all these expectations and being a player taken over Quinn Hughes and Brady Tkachuk. This is very strange. So if you're a Carolina Hurricanes fan, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments. What's been going on with Jesperi Kotkaniemi? What's happened with his season to the point where he was one of the top point-producing guys on the team earlier on, and now he's got 2 points in his last half season's worth of play? It's very strange to see the decline here, but I felt that it was a nice juxtaposition of video to be able to make, especially after yesterday's Montreal Canadiens New York Islanders win video. So check that one out if you hadn't seen it. I know we've got a lot of Canadiens fans who are watching this video, so hey, let's talk about Caulfield and Anderson and all of them. It's all in the show from last night. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Jesperi Kotkaniemi decline in Carolina? Is this surprising to you? And where do you think he ends off the season at, points production-wise? He's at half a point a game right now. Does he finish it off with 41 points in 82 games played? Or does he get fewer than that? Or does he go in a heater? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.